Morning, everyone.
Good morning, coffee moaners. Lovely to see you.
Who was awake at 4 a.m.?
Yeah, I was. Mark was. Our daughter was.
Yeah.
We don't know what. Anyway, we've had a terrible night.
I think we've got an alien at the end of the garden. I think we've got a strange creature. It's not a fox.
Yeah, it's a fox.
It's not a fox.
But anyway.
Sounds like an electronic fox.
Did anybody else have a bad night's sleep? Come on, let's have a moan. Let's have a little moan about sleep before we do anything else.
Absolutely.
Before we reveal the shocking news about Gwyneth Paltrow that I am literally reeling. I had to message Mark in the bath today because I couldn't believe it.
I still don't know what it is.
We'll talk more about that in a minute.
I can't wait to find out.
We're also going to be talking
Has
about...
she buttered her nun?
And we're also going to be talking about Gary Lineker and why he is now forever my main crush. And it ain't his crisps I'm after. Though for years I was after his crisps. And then we're also going to be talking about facts. University is a waste. Facts. Somebody has done a report on the fact how university for many may be a complete waste of money. Right, so who's coming through with their sleep patterns? Come on, have a moan about your sleep.
68. I had melatonin gummies, so I had a great sleep.
God, where'd you get them?
GAZA, yes, terrible, and I still feel dreadful. I slept well, says Russ.
Dreadful.
Just keep waking up feeling all stuffy-nosed. Must be hay fever.
Well, you know what I need to do is I need to drink a huge glass of water because when you haven't had a good night's sleep, and I've just realised I haven't had any water yet.
Wow, Stuart G, 11 hours last night.
Oh, Stuart G, go on.
11?
Go off and do some gardening. We don't want you here with your 11-hour sleep. I remember when I had the kids when they were little and I was breastfeeding and all that hell that is being a mum at the beginning. And somebody would walk into the room, like I'd be at work or something. Somebody would walk in the room and I'd go, have you had a good night's sleep?
Yeah, strange. Yeah.
I just want to cry. It was like eating something really delicious in front of a starving person.
People get strangely competitive about it, don't they? They get sort of proprietorial. It's like, well, I had a worse night than you. You're not the only one who had a worse night.
Yeah, no, but
I had a far worse night than you.
Yeah,
it gets a bit like that
but this was a real anomaly. Like spotting it and like having a moment of loathing someone. Oh my God, Mark, I might have to get the scissors out. You have got full Tories. Okay. Look at it, guys. Has anyone else's husband started doing the Tory eyebrows?
Perhaps you're going to let me dodge that one. I'm
going to get a pair of scissors and trim them.
But why do people get like that? Why do people get proprietary? Why is there a sort of vying competition of tiredness? Like it's almost virtue signaling.
Do you know what, though? The more you read and find out about good quality sleep, maybe it's just a deep, like, survival thing because everything is improved with sleep. Cardiovascular health, mental health, brain health, gut health, beauty.
No, I don't think
everything is improved by sleep. So maybe when we get all like anxious about who's got the most and who's got the least, maybe it's just this thing that we know we're all supposed to be having more.
No, what I mean is why is there it feels like there's almost a badge of honor to saying you've had a bad night's sleep.
Oh, a badge of honor.
Like those people who say, like those people who've always plonked themselves down in a group and just sort of bemoan the fact they're so busy.
Oh, I don't think it's a badge of honor.
No. There are people. I mean, I have to confess, sometimes my mum would be like this, where there's a hierarchy. No. I had the worst. You can't even begin to imagine. It's competitive. It's weird. It's really weird. It is a sort of like, I don't know. It's a weird sort of Olympiad of having the worst night.
Well, I think from my POV, when I get jealous, it's because deep inside me, I know it's the very best thing for everything.
Zoe Agnew wants to try Kourtney Kardashian's Lemmy Sleep supplements. Apparently, they knock you out. That sounds fantastic, like a mallet.
I don't know if I believe.
Luna loves Lucky. I think it's just what couples have left to talk about after so many years.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Oh, Dina, you're with me.
Dina's in the room. Dina's with us.
I hear you, Mark.
So annoying.
It's so annoying. You sort of say you're tired, and then all you're met with is someone going, "Oh yeah, I'm so tired." It's weird. My mum used to be. Anyway, on my mum, I just want to say an enormous thank you for quite literally gazillions of incredibly thoughtful messages beneath yesterday's podcast and also the post that I did on my Instagram. Really meaningful. It was a really tough chat. It is a continuing, evolving chat. Some of you guys who I WhatsApp with and chat with. You've been messaging me and I've been messaging you back. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I've read those comments too, and I answered a couple, but you can't, it's too many. But yeah,
sometimes one doesn't answer, not because because you don't want certain people to feel that one's attended to them, because then I want to kind of be able to apply to everyone.
But know that we read and we appreciate, and Dina as well reads everything under the Curly Cooks. We are very, very grateful for your interactions always, guys. So, right. Shall we start with a little funny to warm us all up?
Yes.
And for those of us that are knackered, we can just watch a little funny. Let's watch a little
Which
funny.
one?
I don't mind.
I've only got two. So let's put this one in. This is black and white.
Have you got
it's silent, fans? So I think no, I haven't got that.
Oh.
So I think you need to tee this one up because it's going to suddenly go quiet. And people who are listening, it's the black and white one at night.
Oh, yeah. So this is a chap coming home and doing everything, walking so carefully. He's pissed.
Right.
So as not to wake the house. There you go. Kids are asleep.
Oh, he's very drunk.
Very drunk.
Yeah,
he's approaching the stairs, taking them slowly. Very slow. He knows where the creaks are and he's avoiding them. Even though he's pissed, he knows how to avoid the creak. And then but there was also a sleeping dog on the sofa with a cone round its neck.
I thought it had a cone round its neck. Oh my God.
That sits up. Have you got the older fans?
Try and put that up
because it's very funny.
Yeah, I'll have to find it and grab it.
It's very funny. Yeah. So what shall we talk about first? Shall we play the Gary Lineker video?
Is that the older fan?
Yeah. Oh no, but you took the music out, so don't worry. I thought it's only if you've got
No,
it.
I can do it. Go on.
So should we play the Gary Lineker? People can watch that and we'll discuss.
Would you want to tee up? He was doing an interview with, what's the name of that chap who I find I like him, but he's a bit supercilious. The interviewer, I forget what his name is.
I don't really know him very well.
Isn't he one of the news agents?
No, is
Amos. He's the guy who interviewed Philip Schofield. He's weird. He plays devil's advocate very strongly, doesn't he? Yes.
I mean, like at one point he does say. So basically, he's done this a long interview,
45-minute interview
with Gary Lineker, and this is a clip from it where Gary is talking about Gaza,
right?
The BBC, and how he feels about the whole thing. So you will probably know by the end of this, if you haven't seen it already, why he is now not only mine, but Dina's. Dina, who's not interested in any men of any kind, apart from who's the other one she says she'd go for?
Zach Bush.
No, Zach Bush. No, and the other one from Hugh
George
Grant.
Clooney.
No, Hugh.
Oh,
no,
yeah, that's right.
Hugh Grant, and now on her list is Gary Lineker and mine.
Yeah. No, he is good, but sometimes I just find his manner, the host.
I know what you mean.
It's a bit odd. I just find it a bit odd.
But anyway. I think he's just prodding a bit.
Yeah, I get it. All right, here we go.
I know where I stand on this. I'm sorry, it's more important than what the BBC, what's going on there is, the mass murder of thousands of children is probably something that we should have a little opinion on.
But the BBC as a whole needs to be impartial about it.
Why? It needs to be factual.
It needs to be impartial about a conflict, doesn't it? And it's hard.
Does it have to be? It wasn't impartial about Ukraine and Russia.
And you might say that
Why does it have to be impartial about? I understand if it's partial about our government and things in this country and everything like that, but something that's going on that far away, why does it?
Because the Israeli position is that what is happening in Gaza, and by the way, I'm not here as an advocate of the Israeli government, but the Israeli position is that what is happening in Gaza is a response to the slaughter and capture of innocent Israelis on October the 7th. And
which was awful, which was truly awful.
And that full context needs to be there when discussing what's going on.
But that's not the full context, is it? Because the full context starts way before October the 7th, doesn't it?
It sounds like you think the BBC is in a complete mess on impartiality.
No, I don't think the BBC is in a mess. I think the BBC it's very difficult for the BBC. I think the BBC generally does a really good job of it, but it's not always easy. I think facts are the most important thing that they, it's like that old thing, isn't it? If it's raining outside, you don't need someone's opinion to say it's not raining. What you want to see is actually what is the weather outside.
I think on the impartial thing, the other parallel and example I would use that's immediately grabbable at, who would demand impartiality around the facts of World War II and the Holocaust? Who could with any sort of, self-respect stand and say, oh no, hang on. We need to be impartial about this. No one would demand that, and it would be called out as anti-Semitic and heinous for all the right reasons.
Sophia, I thought it might. This is the first time I'm seeing this, and it's giving me goosebumps. I think we need to put this on our feed because
But
listen, it
this
makes a big
impartiality
difference.
thing, we talked about this hugely right about 12 months ago. This feigned fraudulent equation by journalists that there had to be some kind of impartiality. We both talked incredibly vociferously about this spurious idea that people couldn't have an opinion because of this so-called impartial. That's not what journalism is.
No.
You've
got to explain the facts.
As he says, it's about the facts. And those facts might stack up entirely against a nation or against a person or against a people. You don't sit there trying to find what his argument, Amon's argument there is for the BBC is that regardless of how heinous and awful the crimes are, you have to get the story back to equality.
Which is literally insane.
It's madness.
In this situation.
Total madness.
Is that the whole clip?
That's the clip you sent.
Oh, I sent you the wrong one.
Yeah.
There's a longer one. And he talks about, he's asked whether he would sign the letter again.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, no, regarding the documentary that they pulled.
Yeah. And he said, absolutely. And he said, but he was the child of a Hamas. He didn't say government thingy, did he? He just said it. And he said he's a 13-year-old child and the script was written by the producers. And he does. Oh, it's such a shame I sent you the wrong clip. Because then he talks about how he thinks that everybody knew. And
well, no. I think the most important thing that it came out, I remember that bit. I saw it yesterday. But the bit where he talks about the documentary, I think again is something that we said. We talked about.
This is the documentary that through how to survive a war zone through the eyes of children. Yeah. And the interviewer actually said, but as soon as you put a child there, then people have got to be empathetic or something like that, he said. And I just found that such an odd thing.
But I think Gary Lineker made a really valid point about that, which is, I can't remember what he particularly said because we flagged up the idea that perhaps they did need to say this is the child of, that there needed to be some kind of transparency, but that doesn't disqualify
what
the
their
experience or what they were talking about or what they were saying. Otherwise, that would be like saying if you're the son of an Israeli diplomat or of Netanyahu's family or anyone in Israel, you're disqualified from being able to express your opinion because you are automatically somehow kind of, biased in whatever you're going to say. But I think the other point that he made was we are more than capable of forming our own opinions. We are more than capable of forming our own opinions, regarding what we hear and what we see.
Give us the facts.
Yeah.
And we're not getting them.
So should we bar children of IRA members from having a say, says Michu? I mean, the parallels, and again... But
it's really important to understand that he's at Hamas, he's in the government, because the government within Gaza is Hamas, but there's the military fraction of Hamas, and he was the agricultural minister within the government of Gaza. So, there is that difference as well. He's not out there, with a gun. There's a difference in that, and that often gets so confused.
I think the thing that we all love about what he said, and I would hope that a number of you have also gleaned and received from what we've been talking about too, is no one in a position of authority, no one that counts, talks with any honesty or efficacy or efficiency about this whatsoever. And we're now going to play you a clip. I forget the name of the MP. What's the name of the MP that we follow?
Zara Sultana.
Zara Sultana. So she presents a question to Keir Starmer, the most
just wait to see what his
unforgivable
answer
individual. She goes to great lengths to talk about the ambassador, someone who came from the Israeli government. I forget his exact title. A sort of social humanitarian justice organization sought an arrest warrant for him.
Don't tell them what he says though.
But just
watch it.
Humanitarian
law organisations applied for an arrest warrant for Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar over alleged war crimes in Gaza, including the siege of Kamal Adwan Hospital and the torture of its director, Dr. Hussam Abu Safia. Yet the red carpet was rolled out. Saar has justified blocking vital humanitarian aid into Gaza, backed the illegal annexation of Palestinian land, and rejected a Palestinian state. The Prime Minister is a human rights lawyer, so surely he knows that the UK has a legal duty to uphold international law. Why then did he block the arrest of an unindicted war criminal?
I didn't.
And then they laugh.
What an
And then they laugh.
Sorry.
I've seen videos recently. I will never show them because they're so horrific, right? Of children's intestines being picked out of the trees to give to their mothers to bury them because that's all that's left of them.
How
I've
dare
seen
you. How
children
dare you.
sieving, digging flour because they're so starving out from under buildings and sieving it, trying to sieve it away from the rubble. And they sit there and laugh and continue to arm that despicable army. And he just goes, I didn't. Sit
What
down.
an absolute huge
Disgusting.
embarrassment to humanity
And how
he is.
disgusting and disrespectful to talk to her like that as well.
An absolute
How
outrage.
disrespectful.
An
I
absolute
didn't.
outrage.
I didn't. What, are you in primary school? You're a humanitarian lawyer. We will never forget that you said it's okay to turn the water off. We will never forget that, Keir.
I can't
Never.
actually fathom his capacity. He must lack serious emotional DNA
Yeah, there's something
to be able to
seriously wrong with
stand
him.
up and push back in such an inhumane,
Arrogant.
lacking in any form
Arrogance.
of empathetic capacity whatsoever. He is an automaton.
How rude to
It
her.
is
How
disgusting,
rude.
and it's disparaging to the entire population of Gaza and the West Bank. It's just unforgivable, hideous, and he is the most permissible, agreeable end of a political spectrum in this country. That is a shocking embarrassment, absolute shocker. The fact that we're going to have a reform government, more than likely in 4 years, this country is a basket case, absolute fucking basket case with people swilling around without any compassion for other human beings. An embarrassment. Oh, let's blame immigrants. Oh, let's blame.
I didn't.
Fuck off.
I didn't.
It's-
The arrogance of it, that I don't have to answer you in any damn way. Shocking. Absolutely shocking.
I never cease to be. It astonishes me with each kind of what they do say, what they don't say. They've literally, Starmer has a media that in no way has challenged him at all.
No.
And then when he gets a question that has had time spent on it,
Yeah.
articulated and thrown
Yeah.
across the House of Commons, I didn't. That's it. We're talking about genocidal politicians. We're talking about a state that the Pope described as engaging in terrorism.
And yesterday, day before yesterday, Israel banned people from putting any condolences up for the Pope.
Israel is I don't care. Israel is a rogue state.
Well, of course
It is a
It doesn't give a
rogue
damn
state.
about
Doesn't mean every
international law.
Israeli supports
No.
it, but Israel is a rogue state.
Netanyahu is a maniac.
Oh,
There we go. So, search me, America. Guess what? We ain't going to be visiting you, America, and giving you any of our money.
oh my God. It's
Millions
just-
and millions and millions of us aren't.
It's just
Millions of
hideous.
us aren't going to come to America because of your absolute funding, non-stop funding of this horror story. Listen, guys, whenever I say horror story now, know that I'm saying GENOCIDE because everything gets shadowed if we say the word. So-
Grace Ann Martin, I don't hate, but I hate the man. His arrogance is absolutely disgusting. He is
Disgusting.
robotic without compassion for anyone. He
But also, he
is.
really doesn't care what we think of
He
him.
does not care. What an arrogant,
That's true arrogance.
what an arrogant bureaucrat he is. What an arrogant bureaucrat. And as Mitri, you have been saying this a lot, and it's really important to stress this. For anyone who's wondering what's happening, Israel has taken
Yes.
30% of Gaza in the form of buffer zones, in the form of corridors of kind of safety.
This corridor.
So this tiny strip, they've taken a
Size of
third
East
of it.
London.
All it would take is another couple of years of the world's attention not quite being on it, and it's gone.
Darling,
It's
do you
gone.
really think it's
done.
only going to take a couple of years? This will be done in 6 months. And they're going to start building the penthouse flats on Gaza, on the bones. But, a little bit of a problem there. There was a shark attack in the Gaza waters. Attacked an Israeli. Did you see all the memes?
I'm sure
that shark was Hamas. But I
was.
tell you what, it's going to make it a little bit difficult, isn't it, for your Riviera, Trump, if it's now shark-infested waters.
Well, the seas off Miami are shark-infested. So,
yeah, but he says it's so perfect.
It's just you know what?
Maybe you shouldn't swim in occupied waters and then get attacked by a shark.
Sometimes one worries about what one needs to do with where one feels and goes with this stuff.
One has to keep doing what we're doing, which is all that we can do, which is to
Precisely,
talk to people.
And he's a humanitarian lawyer.
Yeah. There are so many people that do say to us regularly, thank you, because we didn't know anything about that. And that's all that was within our power to do, isn't it? We can't do anything.
And you're right, Zoe. I have to call it out. Sharon Osbourne's Insta post, an absolute fucking disgrace. A disgrace.
Such utterly
utter stupidity.
Uninformed person.
Let's just for a moment pause and reflect on a really innocent and idle and kind of indulgent job that we could all have. In China, you can work as a panda cuddler, where you get paid to hug and care for pandas.
Hands up if you would do that job.
Who would like that
I actually
job?
wouldn't, because I reckon they look very cuddly. But look at the bloody nails on that.
Yes, well, when they're a baby. But look, in China, working as a panda cuddler or panda nanny is a real job where individuals care for and interact with giant pandas. They're based at conservation centers. The position offers an annual salary of approximately $32,000 with benefits such as free meals, accommodation, and transportation. You only need a basic knowledge about pandas.
Oh, look, loads of people would do it. See, I'd be
Yeah.
scared.
Lee Durrant, I'm on the next plane.
They've got big teeth and big feet.
I do.
Lee would do it for free.
Yeah.
Great, I'll be up for it. Pink lady. Oh, she's gone.
Baby pandas are so mischievous and playful, says Essie. Okay, look.
Jenny Perry would do it all day long.
Everyone in the room. Oh, hang on. Just before we get to Gwyneth Paltrow, I just want to share in this other story. I just think this is so sort of Jason Statham. Jason Statham and his beau, Rosie Huntington-Whiteley.
Oh, are they still together?
Yeah. Their personal helicopter trips have sparked rage from residents after noisy landings have spooked their horses. This just made me laugh. Basically, they go to the pub in a helicopter. Look, they just fly around. But look, do you think being an action hero has gone to his head so that he actually has to descend from a helicopter everywhere he goes?
I don't like helicopters.
No, I don't like helicopters either. But anyway, Jason Statham goes to the local pub in a chopper. Jason Statham. Anyway, we all want to know.
Did you get the older fans?
Yes, let me try.
This made me laugh after our running joke now with Mark. This is a funny one.
Do I have to kill the music?
I don't. Oh no, you said you'd kill. Oh, you haven't killed the music. No, don't then.
Let me just wait. I can just wait. Hang on. Okay, so here we go.
I started a new paid website called Older Fans. It's where people come to see what new injury I've got and guess how I got it.
Here we go. That is very relatable.
And then underneath the post it says, just warning, it's usually something to do with the way I slept.
It is that funny thing over a certain age, just the most ordinary, like now.
You could just do something.
I could leap up to grab something and I could destroy myself for life.
We were walking, Mark was dropping me off at the fascia massage person yesterday, and we were just walking across the car park and I went,
I held her hand.
No, it wasn't. It was the other hand. Yeah, I didn't do anything with it. And this hand just collapsed. And I went into Mike and I went, yeah, so, it's just, well, actually, it was a good job because I suddenly got my agonizing pain again, which reminded me to tell you about it, because what were you doing? I went, walking. So, which you can understand if it's your foot, but it was my hand.
Yes.
Just on that, guys, if you're really not getting anywhere by going to see one massage therapist after another, if you're stretching, doing loads of yoga, but nothing is ever like changing, search out a fascia osteopath. Told you about this before, guys, but honestly, the reason why me and Dina tell everybody is it can save you thousands of pounds of going to an osteopath over and over again for something that might be hurting you. Also, if you get a niggle and you go to them, it's sorted before it becomes a massive problem. So fascia is one piece of like imagine stretchy like rubber stuff over your whole body. So something pulling here, pulls here. Anyway, I was having really bad knee pain again. Totally gone, because he said the muscle here and here at the back were crossing like that, and my knee had just become really immobile. He just lifted it up. He said people don't know that they can really massage their own knees.
Wow.
So like just when you're sitting watching the telly, just do a bit of this. Lift your knee up, move it round, get underneath it. I said, yeah, we're all so scared of our knees, and that's the problem.
Petrified of my knees.
Like apparently it's still very old-fashioned advice not to.
I like we did that. Old-fashioned.
Yeah, knee over ankle is not true.
Get it? Fashion.
You should push your knee beyond your ankle.
Well, I've always thought that. You're the one who bangs on about
because
keeping
it's
it above
always
your
been
ankle.
said.
Luna loves Lucky. My boyfriend's turned 37 and it only takes sleeping wrong now to hurt.
Exactly. Or turning on, what's that one we played a few months ago? The guy just turns on the light.
Yes.
So,
Well, my famous one was pivoting to pull out the Ben and Jerry's from the freezer, and I did my back for about 2 weeks. Steffi Quinlan, I use a fascia blast.
Oh yeah, Steffi, you've reminded me, because I saw about a Steffi. What one have you got? Because there's loads of different ones. We need a fascia blaster.
Okay, fascia blaster.
And a fascia blaster is also good for cellular.
Okay, before we move on to university, well, should we do universities are a waste of money? Let's just quickly do that, and we can build to the big Gwyneth shock news. I'm sure you're all literally waiting with bated breath. What is happening in the buttery vulva world of Gwyneth Paltrow? Universities a waste of money. This is a piece Nad sent me this morning. This is about
very long.
It's very long. This is a man, Paul Wiltshire, who studied his daughter's prospects for work after her degree and found it's not the ticket to success trumpeted by many. He goes into a forensic kind of breakdown of the costs of studying a degree. One of his, I think his daughter or one of his children was doing a law degree. He was looking at the number of opportunities relative to the career that, she was going in for. So, for example, there are something like 30,000 law graduates chasing about 5,000 traineeships now, whereas 15 years ago, there were 20,000 law graduates chasing the same 5,000 places. And so this is a piece in which he talks about
what he believes is exploitation.
Yeah. Now, I've got some real skin in the game, because the organisation that represents all universities is called Universities UK. And weirdly, my first summer coming out of uni, I did temping work for them and worked for them. And they are theoretically a charitable organisation that represents all universities. But they are there to promote it as a business. It's promoting university and higher education is a business that needs money churning through it to justify all of the kind of lecturers and all of the institutions and keep everyone in jobs. And this guy goes to great lengths to kind of look at the kind of, the truth or not of whether it actually pays to go to university, to come out with at least £45,000 worth of debt. Is there a graduate premium? If you get a degree, is your salary always going to be that much more than someone who doesn't have a degree? And what they're discovering is no, not necessarily, and increasingly less. And especially with the amount of student loans you have to pay back, whatever graduate premium you have gets sort of completely eclipsed by the debt that you owe when you earn over a certain age. And I think rather than, it's funny because originally it said universities are a waste of time. It's never a waste of time to learn, ever. Learning is something to be cherished and something to be encouraged. It encourages critical thinking. I went through the university system. I've got a BA, I've got an MA, I started a PhD. It was a huge lifesaver for me at a time when it meant something in a way. It's not to say it doesn't mean anything now. But I do worry youngsters are just being sold an absolute pup because...
Well, it's like MeTube says, and this is what he comes to, isn't it? It depends on the degree. I think science degrees bring a salary premium, but more... So what he seems to sort of boil down, what he was saying, like if you are a B, C kind of grade student, your earning potential probably isn't going to be...
Absolutely right.
Is never going to meet what you've paid out. And once you're over £25,000, that's 6%.
9% of your salary.
Yeah. So this encouragement of everybody should go to university. And we talk to our girls in those terms. We say, it is not the be all and end all. It really, really isn't. And not to have a sense of failure. Because when I was growing up, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like everybody had to go to university. But now it feels like almost an absolute rite of passage of everybody, and it's not for everybody, is it?
No, absolutely not. And absolutely. And it was Tony Blair who set the kind of the standard of saying, I want at least 50% of everyone in the country to be going to university. I mean, sometimes there's a reason for not everyone doing everything, so that you have variety. Variety is the spice of life.
If I'd gone to
Polytechnics
university,
have been removed.
if I'd gone to university, I would have. It would have been a complete waste of time if I'd gone to university. If I went to university now, it probably wouldn't be. But at that time, it would have been a complete. My parents picked up on that as well. I just emotionally, I wasn't right. I was so impulsive. I was so all over the place. Which just magnified all of that.
Yeah.
And why, it's just carrying on the school system, isn't it? That one size fits all, that everybody is supposed to go through this same. And people are just so different. I mean, art, for instance, to get a degree for art, but who's deciding on that? And who's deciding if your art is worth this grade or that grade? And
but also you've got
to be able to go and just learn and experiment and move. It's this thing of this 3 years, a degree at the end of it, having to have maths, all of this stuff just makes me feel like, but it's still a very particular kind of person, even if you're doing an art degree, it seems.
Well, the problem is that as soon as you monetize education, it's like pharmaceuticals, it's like everything. We live in such a profoundly capitalist, monetized culture that now the value of a degree, because it costs so much, by making it cost so much, and it's always cost, whether it be the taxpayer that pays or, it was always subsidized. I was the generation that didn't have we didn't have student loans and all that kind of stuff. I came out with £100 overdraft that I won a prize for something, and it paid it off. I was like, yay, quid's in. I'll come out of university kind of on zero. But as soon as you monetize the whole prospect, you start to look at, there's a kind of, what's the reward? What's the return? You look at what you're learning in a return. And, we have experience of even arts establishments looking at how they can guarantee your line of employment. Well, look, the problem with all of this is you can't guarantee anyone. Look at reports by just an industry like the TV industry, Bectu, talking about the largest number of people, graduates and successful people in the television industry are leaving in their droves because structurally the industry is going through a crisis. So all those kids coming through colleges and going through universities, learning film, learning TV, all this kind of stuff, are you really going to have to say to them, it's a lie? If you say to them, this is going to be an easy route through, it's just a lie. But at the same time, you don't want to disincentivize them because they've just basically shelled out £45,000.
Yeah. And what's so wrong here is the way that it's what it costs people. Because what education is, right? If somebody wants to carry on their education, this is the problem. It's not about whether you should have further education. It's become about whether you can afford to have further education.
I'm 85,000 in debt with nothing to show for it.
Mate, do you feel completely let down by what had you hoped for at this point, or what do you think you had been sold would have happened for you by now? I mean, the other thing, it's like doctors. They apparently it's so just hard to get onto a course to be a medical student here, because what do they do in the universities? They take all the really wealthy people from abroad. So we're losing doctors all over the world. I suppose not many of them going to America now, but
unfortunately, I'll tell you what I think has happened. What happened was Blair started the process of monetizing a kind of rites of passage moment in everyone's life. And at the point that you monetized it, it suddenly became a vital part of the economic makeup of the country, the structure of people's lives. And now really the system is there just to have a system. It's almost like the university system is there just to have a university system. Yes, I keep seeing Gabrielle saying, numerous kind of sort of sectors, the financial sector demand graduates, Absolutely, there are those certain graduates, but in a weird way, are we going to get to a point where learning to graduate level, and that's what this is about. You graduate, when you learn to a degree level, this isn't about learning to earn money. At some point, we've lost the thread. You're learning so that you can expand your mind, your skill set, your heart, your empathetic abilities.
But what people are being told now, you pay out this amount of money and you will be guaranteed this job, which fucking just isn't true. Dina, my sister's just saying her son has £54,000 worth of debt. I mean, he did do one of those degrees that is much more likely to get you a job at the end. But in the end, he's just chosen a different route. But, it must be, I mean, I know you don't, it's not like you've got them knocking on the door saying you've got to pay back now, but it must feel like a burden on your shoulders.
Yeah, of course it does.
Because to even improve your finances, you think, oh, I've got to stop
Well,
paying
it
that with the
disincentivizes you because
interest.
until you're earning past a certain point, you're going to have to earn it. You're going to have to have a huge step up from the point you start paying it back to feel the effect of any pay rise. So it disincentivizes right at the get-go. There's disincentivizing everywhere in it. And the problem with it is that all those subjects that are the kind of what people call the happy clappy feely Mickey. I hate the phrase Mickey Mouse course, because if you don't have Mickey Mouse, you don't go to the cinema, you don't read books, you don't have music, all those Mickey Mouse courses and all those, how important is an arts degree and all this kind of stuff. Well, without them, you wouldn't have design, you wouldn't have things that look nice, you wouldn't you can't. Yeah, exactly.
And a teacher that we know was saying, she said, I can't say this to the kids. But, every so often somebody will come after A-levels and say, oh, God, miss, I want to have a year off because I suddenly realised I'm applying for all these different uni things and I'm not sure if it's what I want to do. And she said, I have to whisper to them, it's much better to take a year off. And
or go straight into the
because
industry.
they push them so young. So it's like, wow, I've got to go now at the end of my A-levels or my whole life is going to be ruined. They haven't decided what they want to do with their life. They don't understand the meaning really of that debt. And I think there should be that year gap where they just find out what it is that really makes their heart sing. Because how often do we hear that they go and do a university course? It's nothing like what they thought it. We know somebody like that, didn't she? Went to do French and English, and it was like a horrendous course.
I tell you what is happening now. We have an entire generation passing through college, and the reason the country wants them to pass through college is, believe it or not, to bail out a sector, higher education, on a yearly basis, because it's a loss-making sector. Tuition fees are having to go up again because they can't cover it. So where the unsustainability of it is becoming ridiculous.
Yes, look, this is a good point as well. Dina has a friend, and I think maybe that was May. Yes, May, paying for a nursing degree is insane. Do you know that they have to pay for that? And they have to pay for their uniform and they have to pay. It's just shocking. And then they go into such a difficult profession. Nurses shouldn't have to pay for their degree.
No, I think there should be certain sectors where they don't.
Why do they need? And you know what? It can be any degree, and then you do your nursing college. Well, why not just let them go straight to be nurses?
Exactly, Lee. I feel for the younger generation now. I think they will be out by going to university from what they have heard and are told. Creatorholic. I'm doing a professional art course now. I keep hearing people who have art degrees saying they have learned more on this online course in a few months than they ever learned at uni.
What's the course?
Well, for example, also on that front, when I went to film school for my MA. I went in, ironically, I went in with a huge reel and they were like, well, what the fuck can we teach you? But you could hone off your editing skills, your shooting skills. You learned about all the process. The thing is now, there are so many courses. One of the things I would recommend for anyone vaguely interested in television, film or anything is just forget a degree, do an editing course. Make it a priority to work out how to edit. Editing. We live in the content-rich age. Content is everywhere. You need to be able to edit. I would say to every young adult, as much as you would say to someone, I don't know how to cook, I would say learn how to code, learn how to edit, learn how to shoot, because this stuff is vital. It's increasingly vital as you move through life. You don't need to take a degree.
Lots of you sharing there. Can you let us know what Milan Art Institute Mastery Program? Wow, how interesting! Milan
That's the course.
Art Institute. Yeah. Thank you. So can we have a bit of her? That's
and then
Gwyneth. Bit of old time, and then Gwyneth.
Okay, this is Lucille Ball.
I haven't got my glasses. I picked up the wrong cards. They left all the cards here. I'm in trouble. I really am. Glasses.
Oh, I love it so much.
Give me some. Can you read it?
Oh, wait, I'll read it. Get up. Look through this.
I'm in a lot of trouble. I'm not kidding. Well, let me see this.
Stop it, will you?
I don't know which. Anyway, the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Very funny.
Genius.
Do you
think it was real? Do you think it was a great?
No, she looked. I think it looked real.
I think it looked real.
I think it
But
looked
then she
real.
was a genius, so who knows?
Exactly. Okay,
Right,
so tell us. We've all
prepare
been waiting.
I
Gwyneth.
want you to I think you need to root yourselves down. Feel your feet really, really, firm on the floor. Take maybe a
Planted.
big breath, because
Prepare myself for this.
Gwyneth
Yeah.
is eating wheat again.
You're fucking joking.
I'm not.
When did this happen?
And she's occasionally eating dairy.
Shut the fucking
No,
front door.
no, I know.
When?
It started. We didn't even know about it. The news has only just got hold of it.
That's an earthquake.
There was even a photograph, wait for this, of a pizza on her Instagram. I have since looked
Pizza.
and I can't find it.
Maybe she's deleted it.
I know, Sophie. Wheat
She's relapsed.
and dairy.
Fucking hell. You're joking. What does this mean? What does it mean?
It means
The implications are far reaching.
they're
aren't they?
very far reaching. I mean, she's built an empire
On a
on
smelly nun.
having a fucking miserable time all the time.
Yes, she's very miserable.
No grain pancakes, no grain, no dairy, no fucking joy pancakes.
Did she do the candles that smelt of a climax?
Yes,
or
but you could
something?
only get, do you know what? You couldn't actually get one of those because they were never for sale. They were always a PR.
Did they smell of her nun or just anyone's nun?
Just none.
Just nun.
But, well, Bridget, are you 100% sure that it hasn't led on the BBC this morning?
I
Dina
think
will
it
know
has.
because Dina watches the BBC every morning so she can scream and shout at it.
I've just got to check the FTSE 100.
Well, Sarah,
hang on, because I think
hang on.
sales in wheat.
Sarah, this is what I wondered.
Oh.
Sarah has said she could be, now wait for this,
The market's
moving
down.
on to a kebab next.
Now, I would pay good money to see Gwyneth Paltrow eating a kebab.
She might even eat her own kebab.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. Me too. That's it. I'm buying wheat commodities.
I'm long on wheat now. You're right to. The stock market is on the move
She
up.
believes that she may have been a little didactical.
Didactic?
Yes, with her diet.
Bit too sort of analytical.
Yes. She's wondering. She's wondering if she maybe went a little too far
What? I think she's gone too far
with
with
her
everything.
diet and making many people feel that they would drop dead if they had any wheat. So yeah, I mean, I
Lee Durrant's right. I think a
I
fry
need
up is
to-
on its way. Zoe says, "Is she okay?"
well, that's another thing to ponder on.
It's dark times, isn't it? When
How-
Gwyneth, what does this mean for you? Are you
Well-
going to stick with your kebab once a week, or
I
might
mean,
you
I
reach
think
out to pizza?
I think she's been very fair on it. She did say that maybe she had got a little, say the word, didactical. So hang on, but we mustn't run before we can walk. Can anyone guess what kind of bread?
Yes,
There's still a fuck up to it. So what's the bread?
sourdough.
And hang on, cheese.
What sort of cheese?
She doesn't state, but
Dairy Lee. You
she
think she's a Dairy
feels
Leah?
that a little pasta every now and again is okay.
This is radical.
It's
this is
fucking
a
radical,
huge
baby.
lurch to the left, isn't it? Really?
Look, there she's got her meats. She's
Oh.
always gone for her meats because
Yes.
she's gone a little bit, she's a bit caveman,
Yeah.
but paleo. But look, can you spot the bread?
Yes. It's, what is it? Pitta. No?
Yes. No, it's not. It's probably that kind that cracks your tooth.
Well, guys,
Yeah.
Alio. She loves a bit of meat, says Sarah D.
So she's gone back to meat. Shall we
She
finish?
gets on my wick, does she you?
What your candle wick? So let's have this guy to
Okay,
finish.
final funny.
Went to a coffee shop. I'm not gonna say the name of the coffee shop, and they asked for a name. What's your name? And my name is so today my name is Free Palestine. So she says, free what? I said, Free Palestine. and then I spell it for her. She writes it down. And then it's my turn. She calls my name. Free Palestine! That did not hear. She yells again. Free Palestine! Everyone is looking at her like mad. Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
How many of you are going to dare to do that the next time we go to a coffee shop?
Yes.
I'm going to do it.
Do it.
I'm going to do it. Free Palestine. I'll say it like that. Free Palestine. F-R-I-E-E. I wonder if anyone will fall for it. I love it. Christopher Cundall has just gifted 30
Bless you.
what's it called?
Memberships.
Memberships. So kind of you. Thank you, Christopher.
Yeah,
And
so
that
kind.
means
Thank
if
you so
you're
much.
one of the lucky people that has lucky dipped it, thank you so much, honey.
Yeah. 50 of you will suddenly find yourself harassed by us on a Sunday.
It's a live Sunday show this week, so there'll be lots of fun there. But also, if you're in the next tier of our membership area, this Friday,
Very kind, Chris.
it's Greek night.
Yes,
It's
is.
Greek night. We're making pork souvlaki. We're making fries or oregano garlic fries. We're having that with gyros. So if you would like to join it, Dina is actually going to the Greek shop today.
Nice.
And she's going to do a nice little video for the members area of like all the Greeky things. I think Dina's getting her Greek flags out. There'll be ouzo.
No, it's not Mamma
Mark
Mia.
might do.
Please tell me it's not.
No, it's not Mamma Mia. Mark
All right.
might be doing a Greek dance.
Okay.
So Friday night, if you want a bit of company Friday night, then join us in the members area.
Christopher Gundall, I just wanted to spread a bit of happiness after a bit of a down day myself.
Oh
Bless
no,
you.
Christopher,
Sending
you
you
had my
love.
down day. Sorry,
Thank you for the message
sweetheart.
earlier as well.
Well, do you know what? That is such a beautiful and that's such a beautiful thing to do. You feel down, so you give, and then you feel better. So anybody that gets one of Chris's memberships today, maybe you could send him an
And
uplifting
Al's around. I
message.
don't know why you haven't been hitting the lottery. The way the algorithm does it, and I listened to Beyond the Trailer, she does a great description. YouTube decides randomly when someone gifts like that, but they will choose people who have posted most frequently and favorably towards the channel. The algorithm can pick
Oh
that
God,
up.
does it pick that up?
Yeah, it does.
Wow.
And also, finally, thank you, Sarah D. I know you've just said it a couple of times. I want to share this. Mark Greenford last night was hilarious and emotional all at the same time. Oh, bless you. You reminded me of Winifred from Hocus Pocus. Yeah, trying to
you
keep
might
it funny and real. And hopefully I'll be able to show clips of what's happening in the garden to my mum.
Yes.
In some way.
And you might not know that, guys, that we have a gardening show. Mark has taken the garden from something like shameless into a beautiful garden, though there are some areas that need a lot of work.
Well, no, and that's going to be one of our big areas this year.
Yes, whilst Nanny Di isn't well, I'm going to be Mark's
Slave.
right-hand woman in the garden. So there'll be more gardening shows coming.
Yeah.
Please subscribe to the channel. It really does help us if you subscribe. I know people watch and they don't subscribe. It's just a little thing. All you've got to do is that.
Yeah.
And then if you want to be alerted to when we're going live or we're uploading a video, you need to also press the notification bell.
And
But
you've
if you
got
don't
three-
fancy pressing the notification bell, just press the subscribe.
So you've also got 3 levels on the notification bell that you can either be notified all the time or occasionally, or just stuff that you like watching. So if you're only into movies, it'll let you know when movie stuff lands.
Sophia is excited for Friday now, just thinking about the Greek food. Senny love the Greek food, and then the Greek food and lots of hilarity. We always have huge fun on these wild lives.
And thank you,
So-
as ever. Nanny Di knows that you are sending all your love and all your
Thank you,
thoughts.
Carla.
She gets that. I share that information with her all the time, and she's greatly appreciative. And seriously, we would have done a members live or something at her flat. She's just not. She's very private. She's just going through her stuff, and but she's aware, and she loves the fact that you're all checking in on her and asking after her. So thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, my darlings.
Have a
Don't
lovely
forget
day.
to subscribe. We'll see you later. Bye.